Hello, today we're going to be discussing section 8.4, which is on areas of composite figures. Our essential question for the day is, how can you find the area of a composite figure? First, we need to understand the meaning of a composite figure. A composite figure is simply two shapes put together to form a new shape. So for example, if we are looking at the basketball court shown below, we can see that it is made of two shapes. We can either see this first circle, but then the brown area shown to the right is not really a shape that we recognize. So what we can do is we can split this up into the shapes of a rectangle and a semicircle. And that would look something like this. My rectangle might be here, while my semicircle is that blue area that I didn't color red. So if I find the area of this red rectangle and add it to the area of that blue semicircle, together I'll have the area of the entire figure shown. So to find the area of the portion of the basketball court shown here, to find the area of this figure, I'm first going to split it up into that rectangle and then the semicircle. To be sure that I'm identifying the correct area, I'm going to go ahead and outline the two shapes that I'm breaking this up into. The first is this rectangle to the right, just as I had shown before. And I'm going to go ahead and shade it in all the way to be sure that we have covered the entire area. So this red area is the first thing I'm going to find. Since this figure is a rectangle, I can find the area by simply multiplying the length and the width. The formula for the area of a rectangle is length times width. The length of my rectangle is 19, while the width is 12. So all I'm going to do is multiply these two values together, 19 times 12, to find the area. And if you're not comfortable doing that multiplication, you can go ahead and do it on a calculator. 19 times 12 gives me an area of 228. Now, since we're talking area, my units are going to be square feet. So the area of the red portion that I shaded is 228 square feet. Now to find the area of this semicircle here, a semicircle is 1/2 of a whole circle. Well, the formula for the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. So I'm going to go ahead and find the whole circle and then divide it by 2 to determine the area of the semicircle. So the area of the semicircle is equal to 1/2 of the area of a whole circle, which is pi times the radius squared. So area of the semicircle is 1/2 times 3.14 for pi. And now I need to take the radius and square it. The only thing I need to do now is determine what is the radius of this semicircle. Well, looking at my figure, if I found this distance all the way across, that would be the diameter. And we know that by simply looking at the right side of the rectangle, which has a length of 12 feet. So this whole diameter is 12 feet. But we only want the radius, which would be halfway across. This gives us the entire distance across. So if the diameter is 12 feet, that means our radius from the center to the edge would be a distance of 6 feet, or half of that. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in that 6 feet into my formula, and then go ahead and follow my order of operations. Exponents go first, so 1/2 times 3.14. 6 to the second power, what this means is 6 times 6, so I get 36. And then from there I can multiply in any order I'd like. Since we have all multiplication, I can simply multiply in any order. I'm going to go ahead and just multiply in the order that we have. 1/2 times 3.14. So I can write 1 divided by 2, if we want to do it that way, to get 1/2, or 0.5, times 3.14 gives me 1.57. So I have 1.57 times 36. And multiplying, again on my calculator, by 36, get 56.52. So the area of the semicircle is 56.52 square feet. So I have two pieces now. I have the area of the red rectangle. I have the area of the blue semicircle. So to find the area of this entire figure, all I'm going to do is add those two together. So the total area of the whole figure is 228 square feet plus 56.52 square feet for an area totaling 284.52 square feet. So the area of this portion of the basketball court is 284.52 square feet. Now we're going to go ahead and find the area of a second composite figure. The only difference is that this composite figure is made up of more shapes than the last figure that we were looking at. We're told in the directions that this figure is made up of a triangle, a rectangle, and a parallelogram. We can go ahead and identify those shapes pretty easily. I see a triangle here on the left. The rectangle is going to be in the middle on the top. And the parallelogram is going to be the bottommost figure of this composite figure. So I'm going to find the area of those three pieces and then add them together to find the total area. So first, the area of a triangle can be found by using the formula 1/2 base times height. And base times height always meet at a 90-degree angle. So if we're looking at this triangle on the left, the one I'm trying to find the area of, the base and the height will always meet at that 90-degree angle, which means that my area is equal to 1/2 my base, which is 11.2, multiplied by my height, which is 4.5. And I know that, again, because they meet at that 90-degree angle. 4.5 and 11.2 touch at 90 degrees. So to go ahead and multiply this out, I'll use my calculator. Area equals 1/2 times 11.2. So 1/2, or 0.5, times 11.2 gives me 5.6. So area is 5.6 times 4.5. All I did is multiply these two together. Now I multiply by 4.5 to find an area of 25.2. So my area just of the triangle is 25.2 square centimeters. So I have found this triangle to the left. Now I move on to find the area of the rectangle. Well, my rectangle is found by simply multiplying length times width. So to find this rectangle above, I'm going to multiply the length and the width, or 8 and 4.5. So area is equal to 8 times 4.5. We can go ahead and do this on a calculator. 8 times 4.5 equals 36. So the area of that rectangle is 36 square centimeters. So I have now found this portion of my figure. The last thing I have to find is the parallelogram below. The formula for the area of a parallelogram is simply base times height. And again, base times height meet at a 90-degree angle. So this tells me that the base and the height of my parallelogram are 8 and 6.7. So to find the area of this shape, all I'm going to do is multiply 8 for my base and 6.7 for my height. So on a calculator, 8 times 6.7 gives me 53.6. So the area of the parallelogram is 53.6 square centimeters. Now all I need to do from here is add these three up to find the area of the entire shape as a whole. I have found the triangle, the rectangle, and the parallelogram. So to now have the entire area, I just add them. So my total area is equal to 25.2 for my triangle, plus 36 for my rectangle, plus 53.6 for my parallelogram. On a calculator, I'll go ahead and add these. 25.2 plus 36 plus 53.6 equals 114.8. So our area is 114.8 square centimeters. We're going to go ahead and try one more. I'm going to start you off by identifying the two figures we should be working with to find the composite area, and then I'll ask you to finish it on your own. So looking at this figure, I see two primary shapes. First, I see a rectangle making up the top part of this figure. So I can find the area of this now red rectangle by simply multiplying the length and the width together. After that, I do need to find the area of this triangle on the bottom, and that's going to be my second shape. So to find the area of the triangle, I need to multiply 1/2 times the base times the height. And remember that base and height meet at a 90-degree angle. Go ahead and take a moment to pause the video and try this on your own. Area of my rectangle is going to equal 9 times 7. So area of the rectangle is 63 square meters. And for my triangle, area equals 1/2 base times height. Base and height meet at the 90-degree angle, which would be here in the middle of the figure. That connects this 9 meters with 6 meters. So area of my triangle is 1/2 times 9 times 6. Area is equal to 1/2. If I multiply 9 and 6 first, I get 54. Half of 54 is 27 square meters. So I have the area of the rectangle being 63, the area of the triangle being 27. So to find the total area, I'm simply going to add these two values together. My total area is going to be 63 square meters plus the 27 square meters for a total area of 90 square meters. So that means that this entire figure has an area of 90 square meters. I'll go ahead and start you off on one last on your own before we're done for the day. In this on your own, I see one square in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and find the area of that square first, and then after we find the area of this square, we're going to go ahead and find the areas of the semicircles around the outside. So area of a square or area of a rectangle is still length times width. And then after that, we're going to find the area of these semicircles. One semicircle has a formula of 1/2 pi r squared. That is 1/2 of a whole circle. But then after that, all 4 of these are the same, so I'm simply just going to multiply it by 4 or add it 4 times. Go ahead and take a moment to pause the video and try doing this on your own. For my square, area is equal to 2 times 2, or area is equal to 4 square feet. For my semicircles, area is equal to 1/2 pi r squared. Now looking at this 2 feet here, that 2 feet does stretch from the top all the way to the bottom of the circle, so that is your diameter. Now if I want just the radius of the circle, I need to cut that in half. So just starting in the middle and going to the edge would be a distance of just 1 foot. So my radius is simply 1. So area of this one semicircle is 1/2 times 3.14 times 1 squared, or 1/2 times 3.14 times 1, because 1 times 1 is simply 1. Area equals 1/2 times 3.14, because 3.14 times 1 is simply 3.14. And on a calculator, we can multiply 1/2 times 3.14. 1/2 times 3.14 gives me 1.57. So the area of the semicircle is 1.57 square feet. Now to get all of the semicircles, notice now I only have one blue one. To find the area of all of them, I'm simply going to take this number and multiply it by 4. So instead of adding it 4 times, I simply take the 1.57 and multiply by 4 to get 6.28. So 4 semicircles gives me a total area of 6.28 square feet. So then my total area would be these two values added together, my square plus my 4 semicircles, for a total area of 4 plus 6.28, which is 10.28 square feet. That concludes our lesson on finding the area of composite figures. Thanks so much for watching.